What's up, everyone? Welcome to This Day in Philly Sports History for December 13th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Feel Good Friday edition of the podcast. I don't know about you, but it's been a long week just in general, not even including the drama with the Eagles, but it's been a long week. Feel Good Friday cannot get here soon enough. And I'm going to take a minute here. Usually I save stuff like this for Tuesdays, but I don't know who needs to hear this out there. But as I said, it was a long week, but I'm feeling very blessed today. And just want to give a shout out to the people that get up super early, people that are out there at the gym, working out at 4 a.m., doing what they need to do to make themselves better and to have a good day. So first of all, shout out to those people. You know who you are. Did not want to get out of bed today. Hit the snooze button for 5 minutes, and then I was like, you know what? Let's get up. Let's do it. Let's start this day. But just feeling blessed in general. Things are good. Nothing like a good workout to kind of put things into perspective. We've been featured in On Pattison twice this week, which is incredible. And even though I know it's coming at least once, every time I see us featured in there, it's a good feeling. So just count your blessings today. You got a lot going for you. Despite the tough weeks, despite everything that's going on, you woke up today and make it a good day. Take advantage of it. As I think I used this quote one time on a Tuesday. Alex Toussaint, who's one of the Peloton instructors, read his book. It's great, but he always says, wake up or be blessed, be thankful, be grateful. You woke up today. You're already winning the game of life. So go through your Friday, head into the weekend. I'm feeling blessed. It's a feel-good Friday. Big game this weekend. We'll get more into that in a minute. But just count your blessings because you woke up. And let's go seize the day, have a good weekend, and let's continue to just make this a really good feel-good Friday. Some quick housekeeping notes. Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont on Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram, at Philly Jimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at Jimbo_Mont. Continue to spread the word. Like I said, we're gradually growing. It's a slow burn. I say it all the time, half jokingly, but half serious. I don't have super duper connections in the media. I don't have NFL money. I don't have the Swifties. I don't have Joe Rogan money, all those things. So it's a slow burn. So I need any little help can do. And again, we're in On Pattison consistently now. And go give them a check out if you'd like some good insight on Philly sports over there. But just feeling blessed. Like I said, it's a slow burn, though. I got a lot of things I'm working on behind the scenes trying to figure out here. Hopefully for the better, but just continue to spread the word, and thank you. And all that being said, we're in our final 2 days now of the gift and food drive. It's still not too late to donate. The link for the GoFundMe is in the description. If you have any questions, hit me up. I'll be sure to answer them. If you're going directly to the Matty Ann Dixon community cover, make sure you tell them it's part of This Day in Philly Sports History's fundraiser. And if you'd rather just send stuff to my house via Amazon, I'm probably going to go Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So there's time to get it to me as well. But monetary donations, we've been getting a few in this week. I've been taking it, talking directly to Jamie, who's one of the coordinators over there, asking her if anything else coming up. So the other day, tea bags. So somebody donated $25, so I bought $25 worth of tea bags. So whatever you can do, every little bit helps. But we have 2 days left. We blew last year's donations out of the water. I am thrilled with that, but it's still not too late. So if you wake up feeling blessed, pass that on. As they say, pay it forward and donate to our friends and neighbors at the Matty Ann Dixon community cover. If you are participating in the reverse advent calendar, today's item of the day is bar soap. So that's what they're looking for. So any kind of bar soap, got a ton of dial soap for them for today. So thank you if you did donate. Thank you for your support. Like I said, I'm feeling very blessed today. feeling very good. Crushed it, kicked my own butt at the gym today, but there's something about that just kind of sets the tone for the day. And I don't know if sometimes you notice the podcasts, some days are better than others. You know, the days that are the best are the days that I go and kick my ass at the gym. But bar soap is today's advent calendar of the day. 25 days of kindness. It's another good way to make yourself feel good as well as pay things forward. And this one's near and dear to my heart. You've noticed there's a lot of things with educators in there. Offer to read to your kids' classroom. They're always looking for volunteer readers. I'm trying to coordinate with my son's teacher and as well as the daughters if I can do it somehow on the same day. But the kids love it. It gives the teachers a break, and it's fun for the kids, though. Like, my kids love it when I come in. The kids, you'd be amazed, like second, third, first graders, the questions they asked you. But offer to read to your kids' class. And if your kids are older, like in middle school or high school, ask if you can come in and talk to them about giving some career advice. Whatever job you are, make it sort of like a mini career day, or just offer to volunteer somehow. Teachers, like I said, the most overworked people in America, most overworked, underpaid people in America. So anything you can do for your kids' teachers to help out is greatly appreciated. And that is today's 25 days of kindness. All right, so some notes. I always tell you, I like to make sure my information I give you is accurate. So I got some notes and corrections from yesterday, and I thought it sounded weird. But when I mentioned that Jeffrey Lurie sold an 8% stake worth $8 billion, that's the valuation of the team. So the team is worth $8.3 billion. So Jeffrey Lurie back in 1994 bought the team for $185 million off of Norman Brayman. So with the 8% of $8.3 billion, roughly made $660 million some odd dollars. So not a bad payday there for old Jeff. I'd say that's a pretty good return on investment. But $8.3 billion is what the team was worth, not what Jeffrey Lurie made. So want to make sure I got the numbers right there. Not sure if anybody had a chance to watch this yet. It's on my DVR. It's going to be watched tonight, so I can comment on it tomorrow. Or I might wait till Monday. I haven't decided, but either way, I will comment. No, I don't want to take away from the Eagles game on Monday, so probably tomorrow. But the Major League Baseball Network has a new Mike Schmidt documentary that aired last night. It's DVR'd. I'm pumped to watch it. If you've listened to even 3 episodes of this, somehow you'll know that Mike Schmidt was my boy growing up. And I'm very, very excited to see it. I think one of the more, he wasn't necessarily appreciated as much when he was playing. Part of that was on him. That's why I'm excited to see the documentary, to see the takes on that. But certainly the greatest third baseman of all time. But that got me thinking. And I will recap yesterday's question of the day in a minute. But today's question of the day. It's very, very rare that a player in any sport plays for the same team their entire career and does so at a high level. We've had a few that just missed out, but it got me thinking. In Philadelphia, who is the greatest athlete that played their entire career in Philadelphia? And I didn't do a ton of research for this. Sometimes the question of the day, I kind of wait to see what happened overnight to see where I go with it. And I just kind of thought about this when I was in the shower, and a quick little trip down memory lane in my head. I came up with 3 for this list. So who's the greatest athlete in Philadelphia that played their entire career here? Is it Mike Schmidt? Is it Bobby Clark? Or Chuck Bednarik? And I almost put Dr. J on this list, but he established himself in the ABA, which eventually merged with the NBA. So I didn't feel comfortable putting him on the list. But those are the biggest 3 that I could come up with. I might be missing somebody, so if I am, let me know. I mean, you could put Ryan Howard on there, but I'm not necessarily going to put Ryan Howard over Mike Schmidt in the Phillies' top spot. So Which of those three is the best athlete to play in Philly for their entire career? Mike Schmidt, Bobby Clark, or Chuck Bednarik? Hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line. Leave a voicemail. Send a text message. And if you do call to leave a voicemail, the settings or something changed with Google Voice, so it'll ring a few times, but you will get the voicemail. But let me know, who is your favorite, or who is the best athlete to play their entire career in Philadelphia? And let me know if I missed anyone. Like I said, I went through, and I didn't want to go back to the early days. Even Richie Ashburn played for the Mets at one point, so you can't even. The pool of players is limited. I got to go Schmidt, not because he's my favorite all-time player, not because my grandmother would come back from the grave and smack me upside the head and said, "What are you thinking?" But because if you put it into perspective, Mike Schmidt is the best to ever play the game at a specific position, and he played his entire career in Philly. So that's why I'm going Mike Schmidt. But who do you got as the greatest athlete that played their entire career in Philadelphia? Mike Schmidt, Bobby Clark, or Chuck Bednarik? You certainly can make the argument for Bednarik as well. And I want to mention this because it does have sort of a local tie-in or impact, I should say. But I meant to mention this yesterday and got caught up in everything else. But Bill Belichick going to North Carolina. This is the end of college sports as we currently know them. And I feel as though Deion going to Colorado was one thing. But if you read and look at what Belichick's plan is for North Carolina, he's going to run it like an NFL organization and essentially make it a sort of a pipeline to the NFL. And I've said all along with the NIL, eventually you're going to have big super conferences, the Big Ten has 18 teams in it. And it's going to be a glorified minor league system for the NFL. I think it's only a matter of time before, and if you think about it, we're already kind of seeing it in college basketball to a certain extent. But I think a lot of these second-tier teams that aren't the big names in a conference are going to start looking at this. And I think the time is right for somebody like Bill Belichick to go to a school like North Carolina and set it up like an NFL organization. It's just the way the landscape is. I don't necessarily think the Blue Bloods, the powerhouses, are going to follow suit just yet because of just how much money they have in boosters. But for a school like North Carolina, for football, this is huge. And I think it's just the first or the next domino to fall. I think everybody kind of wanted to see what Deion was able to do. And for the most part, he kind of laid the groundwork. But I think Belichick's going to take it to the next level. And you're going to see some of these old school coaches go in and do it. And I think it's the way of college football specifically is going to go. And I wonder what that means to the small schools like Temple, even to a certain point Villanova, that don't necessarily have the boosters, don't necessarily have all of the alumni support. Now, Nova obviously has more than what Temple does, but it's worth monitoring. But I think Bill Belichick going to North Carolina is the end of college sports as we know it. It's just going to continue. You're going to see more and more of this. And eventually, like I said, I've been saying it all along that it's going to turn into a minor league feeding ground. And I mean, I don't think it would ever happen, but I would not be opposed and would love to see a relegation system. It's tougher in football, but I would love to see like the Carolina Panthers, the New York Giants, and teams like that get relegated down to the college level. And then teams like Oregon, I mean, they would get crushed. But, I mean, you see it over in Europe in soccer. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing something like this in basketball, even some sort of relegation system based on the league. So maybe like a team like Temple can get hot and move up to the big time, but maybe you're going to see tiers of college sports now, and it's all going to be one big feeding ground to the pro leagues. But let me know your thoughts on that as well. Like I said, I don't know how I feel, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I definitely feel that the way we know college sports now, it's over. It's going to be and look a lot different than what we're used to. But would love to know your thoughts on that. So hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line with that as well. All right, on to the Eagles. And huge game. They should be relatively healthy. Everyone practiced yesterday. Sidney Brown was limited, but it's good to see him on the field. Today is going to be a big telltale sign. But Reed Blankenship returned, so they should be at full strength for this game. Looking to break the team record of consecutive wins. They're currently tied with the 2003 and 2017 teams with 9 straight wins. Would love to see that, but I want to see them play better, and that's the thing. So we'll see. Lots of feedback on the possible dome stadium. A lot of people want to see the dome. I saw a lot of people reached out and said, think about how loud that place would be with a roof. Yeah, that's great, but I don't know. To me, there's something about playing in the elements. But there's not a lot coming out today or yesterday, thank goodness, because of all of the drama we had this week on the Eagles. The Steelers, though, and the Eagles have a long history. 2 of the early teams in the NFL, they actually played together for a year as the Steagles. And again, lots of streaks on the line this week, as Pittsburgh hasn't won since '65 here. Russell Wilson has never lost to the Eagles, and the Eagles look to extend that win streak. But it also got me thinking too, have a little fun with this as well. Where I grew up, I was able to, I guess Lancaster County was the cutoff of Steelers broadcast versus Eagles broadcast. And we had access to the Lancaster TV stations as well as the Philadelphia TV stations. So was able to see all the Steelers games growing up, all the Eagles games. And as much as this is a big game, the Steelers, I guess because I saw them so much, always had a soft spot in my heart. I went to school with a lot of guys from Pittsburgh, and as annoying as they are, I mean, I watched a lot of Steelers games in college as well. And now I work with a ton of people from Pittsburgh, so I can't get away from this team. But did you have an AFC team growing up if you're an Eagles fan? I know I've talked to a lot of people. A lot of people were Chiefs fans, Steelers fans. I know a lot of Dolphins fans. So just an extra little bonus question of the day. Did you have an AFC team growing up? I guess you could say mine were the Steelers. I don't know. Just, I guess, guilty by exposure, I guess, or association. But let me know. Do you have an AFC team? All right, Flyers with a big win yesterday over the Red Wings. Scotty Laughton, 4 goals in the game, a hat trick plus 1. Alexei Kulisov had 25 saves. Good win for the Flyers, as they're fun. I'm telling you, they are fun. They're in action tomorrow afternoon out in Minnesota. The big Sixers news yesterday was City Council moved the arena out of the committee stage, and the official approval will come on December 19th. They did up the community benefit program to $60 million, not the $100 that they were asking for, but I think that's a good thing, and I really hope that the Sixers do the right thing with incorporating the neighborhood community and the culture of Chinatown into the stadium and things like that. But I know a lot of people are not happy about it. I, for one, like I said, I support it. I think it'd be a cool thing. And I also think, like I said, as somebody who lived in the city, sometimes the residents of the city get so stuck in their ways and so stubborn and are so resistant to change. Give it time, and I think we'll be pleased with this. Sixers are in action tonight against the Pacers down at the Wells Fargo Center. Joe practiced in full yesterday. It looks like they should have the full big 3. available tonight, so anxious to catch some of that game in between flipping for the Mike Schmidt documentary. Be sure to check out my boys at the Clashing Conferences podcast, doing good things over there on their Sports Fan Network. The NFC East was another good show yesterday, so be sure to check them out wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. And then go to Philly Goat. It's too late to guarantee delivery by Christmas, but if you celebrate Christmas after the fact, still time to go do some shopping. They have all kinds of great stuff. So go check out phillygoat.com. Be sure to use the promo code Jim Montgomery when you check out to take 10% off of your order. All right, we're going to have a little bit of a doubleheader day today. I've had a couple of them this week, but I was asked my process and how I choose. And sometimes there's things that you just have to put as the topic of the day. Sometimes it's tough, and today was one of those days. So first, let's go back to 1994. And on this day in 1994, the Heat came to the Spectrum. Sixers beat them 105-90. And that 94-95 Sixers team, they were not good. This was the post-Charles Barkley era, the pre-AI era. They were running out Clarence Weatherspoon, Sean Bradley, Sharon Wright, and a bunch of other just scrubs. But in this game, the star was Willie Burton. And it was a game against his former team. He used to play for the Heat. Dropped a career-high 53 points. And raise your hand if you knew Willie Burton scored 50 points for the Sixers. Yeah, most people don't. But he dropped 53, did it on 12 for 19 shooting, but made 24 of his 28 free throws. So that's where the bulk of his points came from. Those 24 free throws made set a Sixers record, which was later tied, I believe, by Allen Iverson. Or no, he tied the record set by Wilt Chamberlain. I'm sorry. But 24 made free throws in a game for Willie Burton. His previous career high was only 28. He had that with the Heat. He did go on a nice little run in these couple games, scoring 20 and 30 points per game. But he only started 31 games for the Sixers that year, averaged 15 points per game, helped in large part due to the 53 he dropped. He joined a list that includes Wilt Chamberlain, Allen Iverson, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey, as well as Moses Malone as Sixers who scored 50 points. Moses, believe it or not, only scored 50 one time for the Sixers, but Wilt, AI, Joe, and Tyrese have done it multiple times. But Willie Burton in the Sixers 50-point club thanks to a 53-point outburst on this day back in 1994 in a 105-90 win over the Heat. Our second event of the day, we're going to go back to 2020. And on this day in 2020, the Eagles beat the Saints 24-21 in a massive upset. And I remember this game well because we went and I wanted to watch it. And I was just like, man, I had to follow it on my phone. We went to the Morris Arboretum to see their train display with the kids and my in-laws. So I was following it on my phone. But 2020 was a crazy season. It was the COVID year, 2 years, depending on who you ask. The Doug versus Carson Wentz fiasco. But this game was important, not because the Eagles pulled the upset, but because Jalen Hurts made his first career start, and I figured this was apropos for today. Not a bad opening game for him. 17 for 30, 167 yards, and a touchdown. Also added 106 rushing yards. The defense, though, contained Taysom Hill. They sacked him 5 times, forced 2 turnovers. Miles Sanders helped the cause by running for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns. But Jalen Hurts made his first career start on this day back in 2020, and he did enough to get the start the following week. And the rest, as they say, is history. All right, finally today, our forgotten teams in Philadelphia sports history, the Jasper Jewels. And they were one of the early pro basketball teams in Philly. They played, I believe, from 1902 to 1917, and then I think they moved to New York. Some of the records back then for some of these teams, because there were so many leagues and so many teams, it was hard to keep track of. But they played their games at Nonpareil Hall, which is at Kensington Avenue and Ontario Street out in Kensington. They were in the Philadelphia Basketball League and the Eastern Basketball League, which the Eastern Basketball League was one of the major leagues that was the precursor to the NBA. They won 2 championships. They lost in the championship 3 times. But like I said, it was hard to find records on them. But the Jasper Jewels did play from 1902 to 1917 at Nonpareil Hall, Kensington and Ontario. I believe they moved to New York. And then we'll talk about their replacement in some of these leagues later next week. But the Jasper Jewels are today's forgotten team in Philadelphia sports history, one of the earliest pro basketball teams in Philadelphia. On this day in 1994, Willie Burton dropped 53 points on his former team, the Heat. Coming into the game, he had never scored over 28. He did set a Sixers team record with 24 made free throws to help his cause. And then in 2020, Jalen Hurts made his first NFL start, pulling the massive upset over the Saints, who would finish 12-4 that year, 24-21, earning the start and starting the Jalen Hurts era in Philly. And I don't know. Would I take 167 yards and a touchdown and 118 yards on the ground on Sunday? You bet your ass I will. But that all happened in 1994 and 2020. We'll have more on the Sixers tomorrow. We'll start gearing up for the Steelers game. Be sure to let me know who the best athlete to play in Philly their whole career is. Mike Schmidt, Chuck Bednarik, or Bobby Clark. And then let's have some fun too. Let me know. What are your thoughts on the stadium? What are your thoughts on, did you have an AFC team? All of that is fair game today on the Back to the Future voice and text line, 267-495-8531. Don't forget, time is running out for our gift and food drive. 2 days left, still plenty of time to donate. And if you're feeling blessed like I am today, why not pay it forward? Hopefully, the bonus Tuesday motivation on a Friday will help you get you through your weekend. But if you're feeling blessed, pay it forward, spread it around, and make others happy as well. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for December 13th, 2024. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Friday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.